Bem-vindos ao nosso espaço, um mergulho profundo nos assuntos mais interessantes de esportes, ciências e temas gerais do momento. Aqui você vai encontrar conteúdo de qualidade, com análises empolgantes e descobertas fascinantes que vão expandir seus horizontes. Nossa missão é trazer informação relevante de forma dinâmica e descontraída. Queremos que você faça parte dessa jornada incrível de conhecimento e diversão. Se gostar do nosso conteúdo, não esqueça de deixar seu like e se inscrever no canal para não perder nenhuma novidade. Ative o sininho também. Aproveite!
If you love science, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have you ever stepped into a massive cathedral or a grand terminal and felt an immediate, unexplainable shift in your mood? It's a sensation of breathlessness, a sudden expansion of the mind that seems to mirror the vastness of the space around you. For centuries, we've attributed this feeling to spiritual awe or artistic mastery. But modern neuroscience is uncovering a much more visceral reality. High-ceiling architecture, particularly the soaring vaults of the Gothic era, is actually a precision-engineered hack for the human reward system. This is the science of the Gothic dopamine. In 2007, a landmark study by Professor Joan Myers-Levy at the University of Minnesota formally identified what is now known as the Cathedral Effect. The research demonstrated that ceiling height has a direct impact on cognitive processing styles. When people are in rooms with high ceilings, they are significantly more likely to engage in abstract, relational thinking. They become better at identifying connections between seemingly disparate ideas and processing information more creatively. Conversely, in low-ceilinged environments, the brain shifts toward detail-oriented, analytical, and confined processing. This isn't just a psychological preference, it's a biological imperative. Our brains are hardwired to associate vertical space with freedom and the removal of constraints. But what is happening at the chemical level? When we encounter a space that defies our expectations of scale, like the 150-foot naves of the Middle Ages, the brain's ventromedial prefrontal cortex and the nucleus accumbens are activated. These are the key regions associated with our internal reward system and the release of dopamine. Dopamine is often misunderstood as the pleasure chemical, but it is more accurately described as the chemical of anticipation and exploration. Large, open spaces signal to our primitive brain that we are safe from immediate physical enclosure and have a vast field for exploration. This reduces cortisol levels and floods the system with dopamine, creating that sense of awe that architects have exploited for nearly a millennium. Before the Gothic Revolution, the Romanesque style dominated Europe. These buildings were heavy, thick-walled, and characterized by low, rounded arches. They were defensive and grounding, reflecting a world focused on protection and stability. However, the invention of the pointed arch and the flying buttress allowed architects to shed the weight of the walls and reach for the heavens. By moving the structural support outside the building, they created hollow mountains of stone and glass. This transition wasn't just a change in aesthetics, it was a shift in the cognitive environment of the population. For a peasant in the 1200s, entering a cathedral was likely the only time their brain experienced the massive dopamine spike associated with such extreme verticality. It was a physical manifestation of cognitive transcendence. Evolutionary psychologists point to the prospect refuge theory to explain why our brains respond this way. Our ancestors needed both a place to hide, refuge, and a place to see potential threats or resources from a distance, prospect. High ceilings simulate a sense of prospect, even when we are indoors. They provide a psychological breathing room that tells our amygdala, the brain's fear center, to stand down. This biological relaxation allows the higher-order thinking centers to take over. This is why you rarely see world-changing brainstorming sessions happening in cramped, windowless basements. Your brain literally needs the volume of the room to match the volume of its ideas. Today, architects are using these neuro-aesthetic principles to design everything from hospitals to tech campuses. In healthcare settings, high ceilings have been linked to faster recovery times and better pain management, likely because the dopamine release helps counteract the stress of illness and hospital-induced anxiety. In the corporate world, companies like Google and Pixar utilize high-volume, great rooms to foster the abstract thinking necessary for innovation. we are beginning to understand that we don't just look at a building, we resonate with it. The Gothic masters may not have known about neurotransmitters or the prefrontal cortex, but they were master hackers of the human experience, using stone and gravity to reach directly into the reward centers of our minds. As we continue to move toward more urbanized, often cramped living environments, understanding the physical impact of architecture is more crucial than ever. We need to preserve the Gothic dopamine in our modern world, ensuring that our spaces don't just house our bodies, but also elevate our cognitive potential. The next time you find yourself in a grand, high-ceilinged space, take a moment to feel your brain breathe. It's not just the height of the walls, it's the expansion of your own mind. For more incredible facts like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.